Hello everyone and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. This is Nancy and I have a very special project that I'm working on today and I wanted to share it with all of you. So a friend of mine sent me a picture last night. He had gone to Lowe's and they have Dolly Parton roses. It says it blooms spring, summer, and fall. This is a knockout rose. They were $20 a piece. So last night, Cameron and I actually went to Lowe's and looked for these, but in the garden, it was pretty late. So in the garden center, the lights were off. You know, some of the lights were off and we just couldn't see. So what I did pick up last night was I found these clematises. Now these were half price. This says it's a Bernardine clematis and this is the color. Isn't that a beautiful color? So they were $9. So I picked up 2 of those. So there's those. Then the only thing I have left in my garden that needs planting are these 3 lavenders right here. So a friend of mine, Junior and Sheila, they were at Lowe's this morning and I said, would you check and see if they have any of the Dolly Parton roses left? So they did. They had these 5 and I picked these up. I came home and I decided, you know what? I want a Dolly Parton rose garden. Now, won't that just be special? And if you, for some reason, do not know who Dolly Parton is, please Google her. I have known of her all of my life, and I just think she's the greatest thing. She's from East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevier County, and I'm just a couple of counties over where I was born. So Dolly Parton has always been an idol, one of my idols. But let's look at these roses really quick. They are very fragrant. So between the roses and the lavender, this is really going to be a very fragrant flower bed. So there's this deep red, which is these 2. There is this more coral color, which is this one. Look how frilly that petal is. And then there are the pink roses, which this one was kind of beat up. That one needs to be cut off there. But between the 5 Dolly Parton roses, the 3 lavenders that I have, and then the 2 clematis that I found on the clearance table last night, I think we can make a really pretty little fragrant Dolly Parton rose garden. So what I did, I knew I needed some place that had full sun, at least 6 hours a day. And everything that I'm planting in here loves sun. So I came out and I took my weed eater there and I just I walked off a 20-foot by 4-foot garden. And I went in and I took my weed eater and I cut it down just as much as I could. Then I went ahead and I placed my plants just to see if I think the spacing is okay for these. And I think it is. I don't think it needs to be any bigger. I think that the roses have room to grow. This is my neighbor's property, so obviously I don't want to impede on them, and there's enough room at the bottom down here that when they go to pull out on the street, there shouldn't be anything in their sight. And look at their peonies. They just planted those last year. Aren't those gorgeous? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my plants and I'll set them back, and I will take my tiller. Well, actually, I'm also going to rake this grass out. Like, I'll rake out what I can, and then I'm going to take my tiller and I'm going to break up the ground. I'm going to rake it again. Then I have a tub of compost, so I am going to put the compost in, till it again, and then it'll be time to dig the holes for the plants. So let me get some work done, and I will show you as I go how I'm doing things. This is what it's looking like at this point. I have gone over it with the weed eater, I've gone over it with the tiller and raked it 3 times. You can see where I'm raking this. So the next time that I go over it with the tiller, I'm gonna really till it up and do it deeper. And that way I make sure I am getting all of these roots out of this flower bed. I don't want any of this grass in there because it's that Bermuda grass and it runs underground and it is really stubborn and really hard to get rid of. So I want to try to get as much of it out as I can. So that's what it's looking like right now. Now that we have gotten as much grass and weeds out as I can, it's now time to add in some good stuff. So I had a tub of compost, and what I've done, I've sprinkled this compost on top, and I will go over this with the tiller and get this down in the soil. This is amending my soil, and then once I get that done, it'll be time to start digging the holes, getting out the water hose and whatever I'm going to put in my holes before I plant, and time to start planting. Okay everyone, this is where we are now in the process of making our Dolly Parton rose garden. So as you can see, I have got this tilled up pretty good. I have gone and I got my pulse toe diggers right there. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to dig all of my holes. I'll do for the 5 roses, the 2 clematis, and the 3 lavender plants, excuse me. So I'm going to add some amendments when I plant. For the 5 roses, this is what I'm going to put in the bottom of my hole. It's rose and flower care. It's 3 systematic products in one: a fertilizer, insect control, and disease control. This is about $23, I think, at Lowe's, and I'm using it every 6 weeks on my roses. And even the roses that I had here that weren't doing so well, with this, I can really tell a difference in them. So it really is, if you're going to invest in roses, go ahead and have a good product that you can trust to use on your roses. So probably about a teaspoon will go in each of the 5 holes for the roses. For the clematis and the lavender, I am going to use some plant tone, and I'll just do a good handful. And also for my lavender, I'm going to add some sand. Lavender likes to be well drained, and I really like to do 50-50, but this was all the sand I had on hand. So I'll be mixing this in, and then of course I have my water ready to go. So let me start digging these holes. Okay, so our holes are dug, and as you can see, I have got all of the amendments in my holes. So added sand in for the lavender. I think that's enough. And the next thing that I'm going to do, I will actually take my plants out of their pots. Oh, and the church bells are starting to sing, so you'll hear those. But I'm going to take my plants out. I'm going to inspect the roots, and then I want to make sure that I have them at the proper depth, because the roses, you don't want to plant them too deep or not deep enough. So I want to make sure I get those just right. So I'm going to work on that next. So we are standing right at the center, which I put the coral colored rose there. The reds are on the end and the pinks are on this end. I'm going to leave the clematis supports in because I don't have anything to go in there right now. But everything looks good, and what I will do is I will get busy getting the soil around these, get them watered in good, get my mess cleaned up of course, and then I'm going to look for some really pretty edging to go around this, and I'll get some mulch to go in here, probably some fabric to go down just to try to help with the weeds. But when it's all finished, which it'll be a week or two from now because I've got other things going on, but I wanted to get these in the ground because we're expecting some really good rain like for the next 3 days. So these will just do great with the rain that's coming. But when I get the Dolly Parton Rose Garden completely finished, I'll put it on my Facebook page. So make sure that you're following that so that you can see how this turns out. The Dolly Parton Rose Garden is done and watered in, and now I just need to fancy it up just like Dolly would love with some mulch, and I want to get something to go, I want to get better stands to go on the clematis. That's what came with those, and I will look for something probably this fall when things start going on sale. I'll look for really pretty arbors to put around those, and also clematis like their feet to be covered. So I'll find something pretty like some type of stone or something, and I'll have that in front of the clematises. But I also wanted to mention that I was so happy that it came to be to have this Dolly Parton Rose Garden because I really wanted some more color in my front yard. But look at what I'm battling. Just a ton of electric lines, and you know, we can't have anything that will get in those electric lines. So this rose garden was just absolutely perfect, and I'm so thrilled. I'm so thankful that Junior and Sheila went to Lowe's this morning and put my roses on a buggy and stood there and guarded them until I got there. So thank you, Junior and Sheila. I'm so happy, but I appreciate everyone watching, and I wanted to let you know the next video will probably come out on Monday, no later than Tuesday, but I have created a tropical paradise at a friend's, in a friend's backyard that has a pool. So I can't wait for you all to see what we've done with her garden. It is just spectacular. Put it to you like this: we went to the nursery with a full-size truck and a 16-foot trailer. If that tells you anything about the amount of plants that we got. So yeah, make sure that you check that video out. Like I said, it'll be out Monday or Tuesday. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.